we understand that, first of all, Laurent Esso and Tanganji, and I think the higher education minister have been depressed. We've seen them outrightly threatening the media. It's not the first of its kind. I thought those specific instances should have been mentioned before your analysis, but I would appreciate you for what you would have mentioned there. So I'm getting out to you, Barrister Fu. You have gotten some details as to what is happening on the ground. I know you are also following the media. Talk to us.
Thank you, Paddy. Before I say what I want to say, I want to thank Dr. Lubati for that succinct analysis. Biya's death doesn't concern us. We don't care. But strategically, we need to know whether he's dead or alive. And so far, nobody can confirm whether he's dead or he's alive. Even his whereabouts, nobody knows. I want to say that the people, the government in Yaoundé is panicking. Because in normal circumstances, a communique from the Minister of Communication, government spokesperson, one communique would have been enough. If you look at all the communiques, one was issued by Famin Dongo, who is the secretary to the Politburo of the CPDM, and also Minister of Higher Education. The other one is from Gregoire Awana, who has kept his boss, Jean Kwete, who is the Secretary General of the CPDM. He is the Assistant Secretary. Gregoire Awana is the Assistant Secretary General of the CPDM. Is it Jean Kwete who authorized him to issue a communique? I don't care. Number two, Ayolo Mvondo is the Director of Civil Cabinet. Who is the Director of Civil Cabinet? The guy who takes care of the president's house, buys president's food, makes sure the president's compound is clean, make sure this. Who is he to issue a statement after, or before or after the government spokesman as to what is happening to the president of the republic? And last but not the least, the bandit who was stolen from the prison, from the New Bay prison in Douala, and made a minister. They thought that the only Anglophone capable of being one of their ministers was a bandit who was serving 8 years in prison in Douala for having stolen money from LCB Credit Lyonnais with 3 others. One of them being a banker, and the other 3 are his partners in crime, fair men who landed from France. Atanganji has not been released from the New Bay prison. As a lawyer, I'm talking like a lawyer who practices in Douala. And I know that when they release you, they issue what they call Bulletin de Croix. That Bulletin de Croix would allow you to reconstitute your documents to become a civilian once more. He was never issued that. Foshive came and took him, put him in his hit squad, and they went around killing Reverend Fathers, killing people around the country in that squad. And he did so well that he was admired by the regime, and the rest is history. He became minister here, minister there, and now Minister of Territorial Administration, and thinks he can threaten everybody. Look, Atanganji has shot himself with his own gun, because if Francophones are now against Atanganji, where will he run to? He cannot come to Ambazonia. He's not an Ambazonia as far as I know. I don't care. His actions don't make him an Ambazonia. He's a thief, a highway robber. I said so on the network in Douala. I'm saying so now because I have his file in my office. My partner was the defense counsel, one of the defense counsels that did the case for them in New Bell before he was sentenced to New Bell. So I am talking with pride. Let him try. I will expose, I will bring out the file and let Laurent Eso contradict me. Being the Minister of Justice, he allowed that to happen. A prisoner is working and is now a minister and he can afford to threaten other Cameroonians. I don't care whether he threatens as long as he's not threatening Ambazonians. He has already killed how many of our people? A lot of our people have died because of Atanganji. He connived to kiss Florence Ayafo. We know that. We know that he's a killer. And we know that he has no place in Amazonia. And if Francophones want his head, where will he run to other than enter the forest?
He's so desperate to please his pipers. I do not think it's because he lost his country just yesterday. Atanganji knows that even he's in his place, he's in Santa Oako, he cannot freely visit it. So that's not a question. That's not even what I want us to focus on. I want us to really focus on Cameroon's calculation when they think that they will continuously bully press the way they are doing.
But
We
as I
saw,
said before, as I open
let me
up,
finish. I've agreed with you. You have spoken well. I'm not disagreeing with you. I want to usher the mic so that Barrister Mbisia can speak. Everything you said is correct. But now we saw Muna saying that Atanganji's communique is a ridicule in the international community, Barrister Mbisia. Please talk to us. You would have read what Muna said. And all of this embarrassment, our interest there is that it unveils what we have been telling the international community about these same people, the autocratic system where there is no form of dialogue, a system that is ruled by a clique of court members, and they will do everything, you know. I also would like you to talk about why Cameroon is jittering, the fright. It's clear to us now that there is really no successor for the King Biya. Talk to us, by Stambesia.
Well, I think there's a lot to take into what is happening. As you have said in your introduction, why all these communiques? It is because somebody announced the death of Paul Biya, rightly or wrongly. So the question we have to answer is, what are they trying to hide? Are they really trying to hide the death of a 92-year-old man? Certainly not, because a 92-year-old man is almost in his grave, physically, or even if he's not, his eyes are not closed, he or she is not worth anything again as a human being. So what are these people trying to hide? They're not trying to hide his death. What I think they are trying to do is that they are trying to buy time to steal what they can, each and every person to take what he or she can gather. I'm sure Atanganji and many others in the regime who all have diplomatic passports have already loaded their suitcases to flee out of the place. Because the next day, when it becomes official that Paul Biya is dead, whoever is going to be his successor is certainly not going to maintain those people talking now. He's going to look for his own clan of thieves, not including Atanganji. The chances that he will include these very gangsters are very slim. A new group will come up. They'll all be thieving, they're thieves, but he will come up with his own group of thieves. And so the people who are buying into all this nonsense, telling this story left and right, uncoordinated stories, they're just trying to buy time. And I'm sure they have bought enough time because they want to take enough before they finally exit the scene. But the problem is this. You see, what Atanganji says is very, very important to us because beyond just denouncing, refuting the death of Bia, Atangaji has gone an extra mile by instructing his so-called duos, the chef de terre, not just to enforce it, but to go enforce control over social media. What does it mean? Mean that your mother, or my father, or your uncle or brother who is in Jenekejam, who is somewhere in Bui or somewhere in Frukanka, and has a phone. They will seize his phone or her phone because they want to control social media. That's why, that's how Atanga's own communication goes beyond the point. And so these are people who are just thieves. And so it calls the question, when we're making a mistake, we ask the question, has Cameroon ever been a free state where people could express their opinion freely? No, that never. As we speak, and for the past several 50 years or more, or even 100 years, no, as long as Cameroon has existed about 70 years ago, you are free to say what you like, provided that what you say does not go contrary to the position of the government. Because even though with all the press freedom laws in that country, if you dare venture to tell a storyline different from theirs, you are either killed or you are jailed. And so it's not a free society as we think all the time. There are two glaring examples to show that. Now, will all of us remember Wazizi? Wazizi was one of us. He was an Amazonian. What did he do? He simply had an FM radio station somewhere in Buea. And because he ventured to say something different from what the government was saying here only, they took him, they killed him, maybe they ate him because they don't know where his corpse is. What did he do? Nobody put him on trial. He was not charged anything. They simply abducted him, killed him. They told us that he died. They did not deny adopting him. They told us that he died. They never told us where they buried him. Even as we speak, we don't know where he was ever buried, if I thought he was buried. But to me, I think he was eaten. They ate him for their rituals. And fast
And
forward
like
again.
you're saying that the cannibals in Yaoundé have eaten Wazizi.
Yes,
That
let me learn.
Of course.
Let me learn. Because there's no shame in saying that your brother or your sister or your relative, your wife, your husband died in our hands. Come and take his or her corpse. The
yeah.
explanation for his death may not be satisfactory, but you are duty bound to be given the corpse to go and bury. That has not happened with the case of Wazizi. So on that
Yeah.
basis, I think I can be quoted for that.
They
I
end
was
him.
trying to fast
They
forward.
end him.
I was trying to fast forward to say this. After Wazizi came Martinez Zogo, whom they murdered. They hid his corpse. They never wanted anybody to know. But as God will have it, there's not so much you can hide. The thing leaked. And they were forced to investigate, pretentious investigation. And as we speak, even the very government ministers, the government officials are on trial. Government institutions are on trial for the death, the killing of Wazizi, institutionalized killing of a journalist. And so, will you say that has been a press-free environment ever? Never, never, never. And I will add this to say, to conclude this particular thing. Wazizi died. Yes, he was killed. There's an association in Cameroon called Association of Journalists. The majority of them are francophones. We never saw an association of journalists protesting publicly that they are killed a journalist. Why would they not even protest? They will not protest because they do protest, they all be taken to jail. Some of them will die. We saw Martinez Zogo die. They knew that they had taken him and killed him. It was not the journalists who were in protest of the death of this man. Forced the government to investigate and arrest his own people. They kept quiet. If he had to say anything, he said it in a muted form. Because if you said it publicly, you are dead. You are dead. So Cameroon has never been any place called press freedom. Never, it has never been there, even though there are papers, some laws purportedly put there to claim to justify press freedom. It does not exist. It has never existed. And so what they are trying to do with the death of Paul Biya, like it or not, they are even acting, they are reacting to the death of Paul Biya because somebody announced the death of Paul Biya. Who was this somebody? Did he even know the person? But it has come out evidentially that the person who announced the death of Paul Biya, rightly or wrongly, was an Amazonian. They were caught off race because they never expected if Paul Biya had been died. Probably the people in Cameroon, Yaoundé, would not even dare to say it because if he said it, he'd be caught. I'm very sure if that Anglophone who ventured to announce it, rightly or wrongly, if he shot himself up anywhere in the part of Amazonia, in the part of Cameroon, he's going to die. They're not just going to arrest you, they will kill you. And so you find that we are not we are where we should never have been. We cannot explain how we find ourselves in this jungle of injustice. We should not have been there, but we are there. And so we must fight and fight until we get out of it. Over to you.